Week 10 recap, week 11 preview. Sharpen the point. What's up, guys? Appreciate you spending a Sunday night with us. Sunday night football just hit halftime, so I think it's a good time to jump on. Chris, man, how was the weekend? Did you go through the YouTube TV disaster? I don't think you did.
I did not. I got DirecTV stream. Shout out them. Yeah,
I ended up breaking down and grabbing the Sling TV Day Pass was my play to survive that, because
that's a good
I let the first hour go. My wife got home and was like, "Why are you watching this sad Penn State Ohio State game?" And I was like, "Oh, because YouTube." She goes, "Just buy something else." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. No, it was. I would say the early slate. I don't know whether I was more frustrated at the fact that when I looked at the winning lineup, that I had all of those players in some other combination, or if I was more angry at the late slate where I actually hit everything that I wanted to hit, and I just didn't play the volume that I play on the early slate because I didn't even look at the late slate till late in the day, and just happened to get on like the nuts. I don't know how I did, but I was pretty much all over it with Kendrick Law in Kentucky leading the way. I jumped on Jaden Scott, the NC State running back, like 2 seconds before lock. So I don't know. I don't know how I ended up on it, but I just ended up on it.
Well, text for me. You sent me the Scott text. That helped out a lot.
Yeah, I sent you. Yeah, you got insider trading on that one. I got that information 15 minutes maybe before lock, and I started switching all of my Xavier Robinson shares, which he played well, but I switched them all over to Jaden Scott at 4,300, and he absolutely exploded for NC State. And yeah, so that went very well. Yeah, I don't know, man. There was a lot that went really well.
I'm trying to think of where the big place to start for this week was.
Yeah, I am sorry, Darren.
I'm having a hard time, man. I'm struggling. Let me reset my camera struggle here.
Oh, you're good. In fairness to Darren did ask me about the late slate. I hadn't even looked at it at the point he asked me because all I was focused on was how I'm going to lose all my money by betting on Carson Beck. And yeah, Carson Beck gave me the blade. But I was heavy on Klubnik and Mensa. I was heavy on Williams. Yeah, I mean, it went well, but at the same time, look, Darren, whatever advice I was giving you early, it was going to be very poor because we didn't have the Jaden Scott news, and that completely flipped my entire build. As soon as at the last second, I ended up having to switch 10 teams over to NC State running back. And that was all I had. So I got the blade very sufficiently based on Carson Beck. Luke Altmaier was great, though, so I appreciate that. But look, I think the easy place to start this week for my money is the same question you ask every week, which is who's actually good? Who do you think is a good player is the $1 million question, or who's a good team? Yeah, Myron, I haven't seen that Mike Locksley got the blade yet. I will say I would like to give myself a pat on the back for getting that. Y'all get me on a Sunday night. You got to love it. For getting the Hugh Freeze is going to lose to Kentucky, and that's going to end up being what sends his butt out the door. That fully happened. Locksley, Malik Washington's probably gone either way. No matter whether Locksley stays or not, Malik Washington is a very good talent. Maryland's done a good job under Locksley of bringing in talented quarterbacks. I would argue Billy Edwards was still a good quarterback for them. So Malik Washington being gone, highly likely in this transfer era. Man, that's a tough spot though, right? Losing them. Oh no. Oh, it's fake news. Oh, fake news on Locksley. I still think Malik Washington's probably gone either which way. We got fake news. Myron fake news to me, Brian. It's all good. Yeah, if
Oh,
the fact that Penn State would have passed on Malik Washington is terrible. A couple things. One, let's break down a couple coaching things first.
I mean, you
Virginia
did call
Tech
the Hugh Freeze
hiring.
one.
That was my call of the week. Getting the Hugh Free because that was plus 320. So I appreciate that money line little sprinkle there. Uh, but James Franklin going to Virginia Tech, good hire by them. I'm surprised they were willing to splash the cash to get James Franklin. And he's exactly what they need, right? He brings complete amounts of discipline, which that program has lacked. And he was the exact guy that I thought was the best option that they could get once he was available. Now, we didn't know he was going to be available when I did the original prediction video, we'll say, but he is what Pat Fitzgerald is, just better at all of it. So I think bringing him in for Virginia Tech is a monumental move for that program. And Shane Beamer is probably going to end up being out of a job as well. So,
I mean, I've seen the South Carolina fans trying to figure out if it's a good idea, just given the volume of jobs out there. It could be one of those years to where it may not be a bad idea because I think a lot of coaches think they're going to be somewhere else, or maybe lining up to think they're Penn State or Virginia Tech's opening, and then may not get the spot to jump, and then they're like, "Well, I got to go somewhere."
yeah. Yeah. So going back, the question you ask me every week, I'm turning the tables on you. Who do you think is actually good?
Well, I mean, I guess the easiest place to start is I was flat embarrassed by what my. I mean, look, I bet Miami or SMU to beat Miami, but it was 2 weeks ago on here that I asked you that question, and Miami was one of my answers for a team I knew was good. And well, we know how that's gone since then. I think I know Ohio State is good. It might be the only place that I take it because
It's the only place
I
I feel
don't
very
believe
good
it.
at that level. Like that specific level, it's just Ohio State, nobody else. Then behind it, I
Yeah,
feel if you went to that
because
second tier, I would say for my money in that second tier, I feel okay with Georgia. I feel okay with Indiana. I feel okay with Oregon. I feel okay with maybe Ole Miss. Like that's kind of the tier in there. I feel okay with Texas Tech because that defensive line is just nutty. But outside of that, Alabama maybe is in that tier. I don't know. I think Ole Miss ragdolls Alabama on the offensive side of the football. Can Alabama score with them? Probably. I don't know. That's the other question, Myron. So that's my next point on that is the teams you feel good about. If I told you who's in the playoff, so you're gonna have a G5 team, you're gonna have Oklahoma. I mean, you're gonna have Ohio State from the like. I don't know. Can the Big 12 get two at this point? Like, I don't think the ACC just fumbled it completely at this point. Like, I don't know that the ACC can get multiple teams anymore. Miami's probably dead. I don't think the Big 10 gets more than three. I would say Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State, and then outside of that, they're kind of dead. Um, they've all kind of fumbled the bag there. Michigan maybe jumps in as like a poor man's version of Texas. That's going to be interesting. So, oh man, it's highly interesting as to who can get in from into the actual playoff itself. I just don't know who can get into the playoff now. If you get past, like if you're only getting three Big Ten teams, you're getting one from the ACC. That now makes four. A G5 team makes five. Like Notre Dame is six. Big 12 team is seven. That leaves five spots for the SEC. Does the SEC get five when the Big 10 gets three? I think it's entirely possible at this point because count them out.
I mean, Alabama is, in all intents and purposes, in. I think Ole Miss at this point is in. Just these are schedule ins. I think unless Alabama loses to LSU, which is I guess possible, but I mean hard to see. A&M feels in. I remain skeptical of Georgia. I don't know if the schedule there allows for that, but
I think you got to count them in at this
I mean,
point.
I don't know. Is the short what I keep thinking is we this season to me, and people are like, oh, it's parity, it's never seen before. It reminds me a lot of the '07 season in that teams are gonna lose. Like teams, there are too many good teams in too many positions for someone to not lose. And so then I don't think, and like a two eliminates you. I don't think Miami's automatically eliminated. I don't think, um, obviously Texas has made a charge here when I don't think Texas really deserves it. Um, I don't know if any of the two loss teams are really out. Miami, for that matter, like I said, Utah is now flirting around there. You mentioned Michigan, USC. I mean, I think there's a case for Iowa, which we may have to get to a little later. I don't think two losses kill you in this day and age. It's just who can get to that point with two losses. And that's where I say, like, I think Ole Miss is in because Ole Miss has one, and I don't see the second one on the schedule.
Yeah.
If the second one pops up and surprises you, great, but I still don't see a third.
Yeah.
And I think the goal is just, can you get there with two or fewer losses, and then you're likely in.
So to Myron's point, hitting on the G5 real quick, I think San Diego State is the class of the Mountain West. They probably get in if everybody else fumbles the bag, right? And by that I mean the AAC. Now, North Texas is going to win out. So North Texas has to lose. They had a big win against Navy this week. Navy's schedule is prohibitive. They are not going to win out because they play Notre Dame this week. Then they still have Memphis, Tulane. They're dead. And South Florida, I think. I think they have the hardest end of schedule in the entire G5. North Texas has UAB, Rice, and Temple to finish out. They are going to have one loss, which is that game against South Florida, heading into the AAC title game with everything to play for. Memphis this week plays Tulane. Tulane managed to eliminate themselves by losing to UTSA in just an awful performance when they had everything to play for. So, I mean, have you seen the numbers for UTSA from that game? Like what Owen McCown did to Tulane? It's insane.
No,
He went 31
I
of
have not. I knew
33.
it was everyone and anyone that I knew from New Orleans was less than pleased.
He went 31 of 33 for 370 and 4 tuds. That's insane. That completion percentage is nutty. David Amador had a game and a half. Like, I mean, they eliminated themselves. They're now dead. They will not pass San Diego State or JMU. That is a big time performance, though. I think that G5's wide open. San Diego State is one heck of a team. They're a wagon, as Tom Fernelli would say. So I would say San Diego State is in one of the driver's seats, especially after Boise fumbled it last week as well, losing to they lost to Fresno State when Maddox Madsen got hurt. So they're pretty dead at this point. Going into the games from this week. So on the quit watch cycle, did we finally see the last act of Florida for the season, and they're about to just go into a downward spiral? Because Dallas Wilson's now out for the season. They lose their top target. Now, we did see the reemergence of Eugene Wilson, which was a nice thing to see. He kind of Undertaker gift on that one. Very pumped for that. I love Eugene Wilson. Jaden Ball had a good game, but Lagway again, 166 through the air. The kid is basically Drew Aller at this point, and nobody can convince me of otherwise until I see him do something of relevance.
He did short arm that big touchdown, or what could have been a touchdown pass to win the game at the end there. Up to your decision on whether or not that was a catch or not. And Florida, for my money, was one big hit there at the end of the first half away from probably winning this game. I took Florida plus the points, and I took the money line in this one because I don't buy Georgia. I have a lot of doubts in kind of what they've got at this point. I think Stockton's fine. The receivers are Branch, and boy, that Branch is so slippery, man.
Oh,
I don't think they use him enough for how often he gets. He needs to get the ball anywhere near enough. Um, I just don't trust Georgia, so I like Florida in this spot. They had a big hit on,
Brian's doing Brian things right now, boys. Just
and I
happens.
think Baugh is.
Yeah. No, I mean, Ball's a stud. And, you know, like you said, Branch, they need to stretch the field with Branch a little bit more, push the ball down the field. I thought Bowens looked really good. Nate Frazier's still quite disappointing in that spot, but Georgia continues to win. They made some really poor decisions in the offseason with their defensive line, allowing guys to leave that are now excelling at other programs. And their defensive line actually is not particularly good. Um, Speaking of, we talked about Ole Miss, we talked about Lane Kiffin. A lot of these coaches at this point are taking long-term extensions. We saw it with Signetti. We saw it with Lashley now. We've seen it kind of with Lane kind of saying he's not going anywhere. They took care of business in a tricky spot against South Carolina. That could have gone sideways when it was 10-7. They managed to handle it. Kejuan Lacey continues his surgence for him and Ahmad Hardy are two of the best backs in the SEC. They still do not have a wide receiver that scares me in any which way. So they, I would say, are not a legitimate contender for the simple fact that I cannot trust them to throw the football effectively right now.
Yeah, it feels like they keep flirting with disaster. I think it's similar to what we've seen from Georgia. It's what I think Georgia Tech had been doing for a while, where it just felt like the disaster is coming. Um, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't see it on Ole Miss's schedule going forward at this point. I mean, Mississippi State doesn't scare me at all. They've played better. They've been threatening for that SEC win. They got it this week against Arkansas, but it's certainly not a team that concerns me. Obviously, they have the Florida game, which they dropped and cost them the playoff spot last year. I just have a hard time imagining they drop both of those games and then end up missing. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, in terms of long-term championship possibilities, the issue is certainly where does the consistency come from the receiver group if Lacey gets bottled up?
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Yeah, and Georgia's got those slow starts. To Myron's point, I agree with that 100%. Now, you mentioned teams that are flirting with it. You talked about Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech flirted with it, and they got the blade finally. I mean, if you told me before this game that
Finally, yeah.
Haynes King throws for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns and runs for another 102 touchdowns, I tell you there's 0% chance they lose this game. And yet somehow Jaden Scott runs for 200 yards and a touchdown. CJ Bailey, one of my preseason favorites to be a guy who takes another step, throws for 340 on a bum wheel, runs for 34. He was just a dominant player in this game. Noah Rogers finally looked like his Ohio State self before he transferred. So came from the pedigree there. NC State, Dave Doran, he's going to be bowl eligible, and he absolutely dominated Brent Key and those guys. I mean, I think Georgia Tech still is the class of the ACC, but that was a disappointing performance, and we knew eventually they were going to get caught, and they finally did.
Yeah, like I said, they've been flirting with it, right? It's been a couple of weeks now where Georgia Tech was in a spot where they were constantly playing catch up, constantly fighting to claw their way back. And Haynes King did the I'm not a Simpsons guy, but the is it Ralphie, the little kid that just gets thrown through the window? Like that's just Haynes King at the goal line, the gift that I constantly see. And that can only work for so much. I mean, 36 for Georgia Tech needs to be enough to win. If you can't expect them to beat 48, that's just an absurd number that offense just isn't going to beat. It's been a season of teams. Everyone has a flaw, except from what we've seen from the kind of top two, the Ohio State and I mean Indiana. I guess it currently is there. They haven't shown the flaw to this point, but it's really Ohio State that hasn't shown any. Everybody kind of has it, and we saw it again. We mentioned Miami, right? We've been talking about the Carson Beck issues for weeks. Do they trust him? Clearly not. Clearly, that's caught them the last 2 weeks. I don't know if they're fully out, but I just don't know what they hang their hat on if you're Miami going forward. I know Myron brought it up. The ACC really dropped the bag, had a bunch of spots to potentially make the playoffs, and God knows what that looks like now. Maybe Virginia, Georgia Tech driver's seats for that spot. I don't know. It's kind of weird on who that could be, but I don't know. It felt like Georgia Tech had this building for a while. It felt like Miami had this building for a while. Notre Dame, another team this week that really tried to fumble it, tried to show we're not quite that good. Boston College had like a 20 play, 80 something yard field goal drive in the third quarter. They like the entire clock. So I think that one ends up looking closer, but Boston College gave them a lot more punch than I thought as a multi touchdown dog. Granted, at home, it was just, I don't know. I don't know how to really encapsulate the weeks because it just seems like the thing you have to do is just win. Who really cares how you look? Especially this late in the year, there's just too many teams that are just finding ways to lose. If you can find a way to win and almost lie, cheat, and steal your way to the playoff, that just kind of has to be how it is. Can you hide your deficiency long enough to get to that spot? Can you bottle up what's been a disaster? I mean, Texas Tech obviously was flirting with quarterback injuries and the nightmares they've been through that slid them down. Got Barron back this week, figured it out, and took off. Tennessee and the Joey Aguilar issue of it all finally catching up to them as Oklahoma thumped them. I think the biggest thing from the weekend for me was just how long can you hide your issue?
Yeah. So hitting on a few of those. Carson Beck, the first interception, not his fault. JoJo Trader just flat out dropped the ball. Second interception in overtime, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. That was awful. It was a poor throw. As somebody who ended up having to suffer through that entire game, it was the one time that SMU got pressure on him. Anytime he's under duress, he makes dumb decisions. So that's why he's never going to be an NFL quarterback, long destined for the CFL. We talked about teams that are getting away with it. Virginia, I watched a lot of that game because I was so heavily invested in Kendrick Raphael, and most people were on Jamari Taylor. Jamari Taylor, I thought, was about to give me the blade, but he ended up having a very good game. Don't get me wrong. He had 105 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. However, my man Kendrick Raphael came through with 3 touchdowns of his own in response. I greatly appreciated that. Virginia is eventually going to get caught here. They just make some stupid decisions. Chandler Morris has been playing awful. They can't keep getting away with this team. They've won 3 times in overtime. They've barely won multiple games. I really need a long Jackson Smith and Jigba touchdown, but that would be very helpful. Yeah, and then hitting on a few of the other ones. This Texas game looked like it was close. It really wasn't. The final score does not represent the context of this game. Arch Manning came out, dominated it early, looked good, but I need to see him play well for multiple weeks against relatively decent competition. I don't know that Vanderbilt necessarily is deserving of that 9 that was next to them. It just happened to be who they've played so far. See, Myron's a Virginia fan. I appreciate that you are the second best team in the state of Virginia. I will root for you when you play Virginia Tech. I just pray to goodness that you finally beat Virginia Tech because it pains me every year to root for Virginia in that game and then lose year after year. Eli Stowers showed up for Vanderbilt in that spot. 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, finally showed himself to be a reliable pass weapon. Pavia put up a nasty number, but it was all very late with 3 garbage time touchdowns to cut that thing from 34-10 to 34-31. You hit on Texas Tech. Good gravy. I need to go find this stat. Tackles for loss, man. They had 12 TFLs against Kansas State. Absolutely dominant performance. There is nothing that anybody can do when David Bailey, who is a demon on that one side of the field, he's going to be the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, no doubt about it. They paid. Think about the domino. Think about the domino that was Troy Taylor getting fired at Stanford for being mean to people in the athletic department, and David Bailey going to Texas Tech, which inevitably made them a title contender. That is insane. They have some monsters off the edge, and they are scary good along that defensive line. They're going to give guys fits. I legitimately think that if they get a decent draw in that bracket, Bayron Morton stays on 2 feet, they are literally a team. It's very hard to do. If they get a good draw, though, they are a team that could face Ohio State in the title game. Now, that's not going to be a pretty game, but Jacoby Williams and Cameron Dickey is a fabulous combination. Cameron Dickey will not be your leading rusher on this team outside of that 265-yard game. That was a mirage. It's Jacoby Williams. He's the best back in that backfield. He's absolutely electric. We need to see that going forward. Aguilar looked pretty good for a CFL quarterback that I expect him to be. Braylon Staley was fine in this game. Oklahoma is very good stopping the run. They do struggle stopping the pass. John Mateer looked better, I guess. I don't know. I feel like if I have a healthy Mateer, they're a legitimate team. But Darren did mention in the chat something I've heard too, which is that Penn State is interviewing Tony Elliott from Virginia as the head coach. And that would be the worst possible hire of all time because they're living on the schedule. Like they're living complete on the schedule that they have to play this year. That is as awful. It'd be like hiring Fran Brown from Syracuse.
That Penn State search seems to have been.
It's something. It's so. Yeah, that Penn State search.
The Penn State search has been surprising, like quiet.
Yeah, I think they're gonna wait it out though. That's what it is. They're just trying. They're trying to wait.
It's a disaster, right?
No, you're fine. They're waiting it out. They're waiting that one out. Louisville, I think, is in the driver's seat for the ACC. That's kind of. I think they're.
Well, I mean, initially, obviously, the immediate Matt Rule, and then.
Well, yeah. Yeah, the Matt Rule locking himself up is wild to an extent, I would say. Especially, they should have won that game. So speaking of that game, speaking of Matt Rule, which you talked about, they should have won that game. Dylan Raiola now out for the season, and they're dead without Raiola. Raiola broke his ankle, and he's probably just he's gone. So now you're looking at TJ Lateef, who managed to somehow throw 5 of 7 passing for 7 total yards, which is just one hell of a stat line in this thing. Brian's going in super insano mode on this. Look at
Bro, I'm trying anything, man. I'm on my phone now. I'm trying anything just to be here for the people and not be just a total disaster in this.
He's impressive, folks. The man will do it all for you. So I talked about Dylan Raiola being out for the season, and they should have won that game if Raiola doesn't break his leg. So he's gone. I think USC has it all to play for if they could win out. I just don't know that they will. I just think there's too much problems there, and now Nebraska's going to have TJ Lateef in his 5 for 7 for 7 yards passing to go forward, and it's just not pretty.
I mean, we just watched Jeff Sims win a big game, so I mean, I think anything is certainly possible.
So I'm glad you brought him up because I thought this is going to be my last opportunity all time to talk about Jeff Sims, and I hope it is because I never want to talk about him again. Jeff Sims, former Georgia Tech awful quarterback, former Nebraska awful quarterback, segueing from Nebraska. And rule number 1 is friends don't let friends play Jeff Sims. This week, we were reminded that anytime you have a running quarterback facing Iowa State this year, make sure to play them because Jeff Sims ran for 228 yards and 2 touchdowns against my Iowa State Cyclones, the team that I adopted before the season. He had 30 carries. So I hope this is the last time that I ever talk about Jeff Sims. Myron knows I'm never going to recommend Jeff Sims. If he beats me, he beats me. Point blank, plain and simple. I refuse to do that. I do want to ask you about Duke So that Duke Clemson game, I don't know how much you got to see of that one. That was a
Oh,
blast. What a game.
You want just general thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, did you get to see any of it? What'd you think of the game? Because I
Yeah,
thought
so I got to catch the end of it because that was by the point by the point I had bought in. So yeah, I mean, I had played Klubnik in DFS. I had the Williams. I had the not West Coast. Help me.
Oh, you had Tristan Smith.
Yeah. I didn't double it back with Duke, but so yeah, once I got the Sling TV pass to jump in with everyone else, yeah, I watched the close of this one. Dabo called that pass interference the worst call he's ever seen in his life. I haven't seen an angle to tell me that it was the worst call I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it looks like the guy realized he was about to get a DPI and tried to flop it. I mean, it kind of is what it is. Duke's got the 3 losses. I don't think they're a playoff team. It was a very fun game there at the end. The thing for me with this game that I actually was teeing up to ask you about, if I could have gotten a word in without sounding like I assume a robot or something terrible, the reporting out of Clemson is interesting because the leaders there in the athletic department, the boosters, et cetera, apparently have gone to Dabo and said things have to change, right? They're 3-5. It's a preseason top 5 team. I mentioned in our preseason show, I didn't understand why they were everyone's pick to win the national title, because it's college football. The team that everyone picked out to win, no one always picks the same team. Everyone has a shot at it, but they were everyone's pick to win the national title. And obviously this hasn't gone right. The conversation was that things need to change. You need to take different approaches. You need to change the way you do business here. And evidently he didn't receive that very well. Are we headed for a breakup here? Does he make sense for Auburn? Does he make sense for South Carolina? Does he make sense? I've seen rumors of Heupel potentially being the LSU guy. Does Dabo get the "we're breaking up, go find yourself your other job" situation? I just don't know what Clemson has in them.
So what I will say here, I get the feeling that if Scott Woodward was somehow still in charge at LSU, he would hire Dabo at LSU. It feels very Jimbo Fishery for somebody to go hire Dabo at this point. It's a Jimbo hire, 100%. I don't think anybody should, could, or would hire Dabo right now, but somebody's dumb enough to do it because he's won a national title, and there's not many coaches that have.
That's why I think Auburn feels like that, like the team that I don't think it'd be terrible.
Yeah,
like I when you're in that tier of maybe someone will like us, like I feel like that's what you've got to go do. Like you're in the realm of we're not hiring. If you're Arkansas trying to get Rhett Lashley and they tell you to get lost, why shouldn't Arkansas call and see if Dabo's free? I mean that type of level of things. I don't know. I don't know where that goes, and I think that's one of my more interesting things to watch down the stretch here because they might end up in a bowl game here, and like I said, they were everyone's preseason national champion.
Yeah, I think
They're going to have to beat. Yeah, they're going to have to beat all of or 2 out of 3 of Florida State, Louisville, and South Carolina.
Yeah, which is going to be a struggle, 100%. 2 things to clean up before we hit on next week's stuff and looking forward. Michigan is maybe the worst 7-2 team in the country. Bryce they just lost Justice Haynes, starting running back for an extended period of time. I sent it to you. I got word of that he was out with a foot issue because from a school teacher appearance where he was reading to kindergartners. I don't know how I get this stuff. People send it to me, but it was a Facebook post from a school teacher named Miss Hayes. And she said, "Thank you to Justice Haynes for showing up with a broken foot or whatever. She was leaking news on the side. I appreciate that, though. Bryce Underwood is the second incarnate of he's the second incarnate of DJ Lagway, where he is hyped to hell, but he cannot play with the weapons around him. His weapons are nowhere near as good as DJ Lagway's, but my goodness, he made a terrible decision, and they nearly lost to Purdue. I think I'm going to end. This is the year you're going to take the other side of this. This is the year I am taking alt lines on Ohio State to destroy Michigan by very large amounts of points. You're going to take Michigan money line. I know it. You don't even have to tell me about it. I already know it's going to happen.
It's funny. I was looking at their schedule and I'm going, boy, I think I might take Northwestern money line this week.
I thought about it. Griffin Wild's a pretty nasty boy. Last game I wanted to hit on, it was my underrated game of the week. Shout out to my very large Hawaiian audience that I've gotten. I really love my Samoans in Kilo and in Kiahi or whatever. Hilo, they're very popular there. They loved the underrated game of the week. I'm very sorry that Hawaii could not deliver for us. They did not play well on the mainland. Be daggone, that was one hell of a game, though. It was 45-38, San Jose State winning that one. Oh, my goodness, Danny Scudero with 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. I was just tilted at the 4 rushing touchdowns that they managed to have. And it drove me insane. There was 6 rushing touchdowns in this game. If they were flipped to passing touchdowns, it would have been that much better. But I do love watching Hawaii every week.
Like a true degenerate. I did want to quickly, one joke I saw, and Bryce Underwood was, I have to apologize to Bryce Underwood. I said he was bad, and I couldn't have been wrong. He's much worse than I thought.
Yeah, that is not incorrect. So looking at this week, we got Tulane taking on Memphis in a Friday night game.
Well,
that's huge for Memphis.
You're ahead of me
I'm afraid for them.
I wanted to talk Tuesday.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
I can't drag you into a Miami, Ohio conversation, or is that going to be your game of the week?
It's not, but some of it's view related. You'll kind of know. Well, we could talk about the game that I'm going to end up highlighting because of my fan base. But Miami of Ohio is on the list of games that I'm interested in. Very much so looking forward to. You know me, I'm a big Parker Navarro fan. Sia Bangura. But Miami of Ohio is not playing very well with my guy. What's his face? Daquan Finn. I was really looking forward to Miami of Ohio taking on Toledo later in the season. I think it's next week. That's my favorite Maction game of the year. But if I was betting that game, I don't know, man. I don't Maction games are tough to bet, bud, because they're always this like risk of 7 inches of snow at any given time.
You can take it to Tulane if you'd like.
Yeah, so I like Tulane money line in this spot. I really do. Plus 205. Brian's having a bad performance. It just happens. Tulane plus 205. I'm a fan of today. And Memphis, this feels like they're going to have to be up and have a hangover here. I do expect a very good bounce back performance off of Tulane in this spot. Memphis has everything to play for. It just feels like a game that Tulane comes in and steals and eliminates Memphis from the conversation here. And at plus money, I'm willing to take the shot.
Yeah, I think so. You mentioned the injuries that Memphis is dealing with. And so, I mean, I think John Summerall is obviously auditioning for these jobs, right? He's putting on the "you should hire me to come coach your school." And obviously the UTSA thing was a disaster, and throw a nice bucket of ice cold water on him. I think he's got to come back in here and throw some punches and look better. So I certainly believe it's a good spot for Tulane to do that and get I can't call it prime time. It's 9 p.m. on a Friday, but a largely watched game for a ranked team like Memphis that will get talked about on game day, will get talked about as a G5 important game.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the it has a standalone spot that it's going to be widely viewed. Florida State taking on Clemson. This is a game we thought might be a big game coming into the season. It's not. I do think Clemson probably handles business here. I just don't buy Florida State. That offense just looks putrid. Thomas Castellano. I mean, that was a great performance against Wake Forest, but we know the ups and downs of an actual Gus Malzahn offense. This is the full Gus experience right here. And he's going to come back this week and he's going to look stupid or something terrible is going to happen. Yes, Clemson just got dominated by Duke. I'd argue Duke's a better offense than Florida State is. I just don't, I don't know, man. That game's weird. I thought that Klubnik looked good. They played well enough on offense. I would expect that they are able to move the football and score a good bit on Florida State. But, you know, it was kind of funny. Did you manage to see the Duke tweet, by the way, about Death Valley?
The Spirit Halloween one? Yeah.
Yes, that is hilarious. Death Valley and is Spirit Halloween. Yeah, I mean, I just think this Florida State Clemson game is wonky.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, it's odd you ran to the 7:30 window because I've got a couple of nooners I want to talk about.
Oh no, that one actually on my screen was 11, but I just grabbed games.
It's okay. I mean, look, I know I normally steer this thing, and I've been a disaster today, so it's okay. It's all right.
You're in great shape right now. It's like
I don't know what happened. I was on my
Wi-Fi.
phone. My phone overheated. I switched back to the computer, and suddenly it's perfect. I don't get it. I'm interested in. Could I interest you in Georgia going to Starkville at noon? 7.5.
I don't know about Stark Vegas.
7.5.
So did you see that they played two quarterbacks this week? They took Blake Shapen out for parts of that game.
So everybody was so mad when Shapen came back.
I know Fluff did come back to play. So I will say maybe. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm going to buy Georgia. I don't like that situation. After what happened with that Texas game, I just don't think I can buy into Mississippi State anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I could buy that. A fun one is this Indiana is a 2-touchdown road favorite at Penn State. 2 touchdowns feels low.
Yep.
I mean, I'm surprised it's that low. So I'm happy to take that one.
Myron's a man after my heart, man. He just wants to talk DFS. He does not care about breaking the game down. I love it.
Yeah, no,
that'd be fun.
He's right. BYU Texas.
Yeah,
Tech
I mean, I think Indiana. So 100%, but I think Indiana does blow the doors off Penn State.
Sorry,
Penn State's going to struggle to score again. How they managed to get 14. I mean, it took a fumble and some luck to get to the point total last week.
They had 14.
Yeah, to your point, BYU Texas Tech is the biggest game on the slate. BYU to me is a fraudulent number 8 in this game. There's a reason that Texas Tech's a 10.5 point favorite in this one. They should be.
Well, but the thing with BYU is what I was talking about before, right? It's just how long can you hide your weakness? How long can you find the ways to win? And so far they have. But it's going to catch up with you at some point. And I think we've agreed that Texas Tech belongs in that tier, maybe not the one right behind Ohio State, but certainly in the one right there of teams that can win the title, but I don't know are considered heavy favorites. They're the team that I think you asked me about, like, if I gave you a bet to put on a champion right now, that's not Ohio State, who were you taking? And I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was like Texas Tech. I mean, like you said, if Barron is standing, that's the guy. And that's one of the probably 4 best teams in the country. Yeah, I mean, 10.5. I don't know, man. Texas Tech is a bully. Like, they are a bully, and I just don't see BYU as that for a while.
See, Myron, man. I got smart viewers.
You want to replace me with Myron? That's okay. You can. Myron probably has better Wi-Fi than I do.
I love Myron.
What a tough night.
So Bear Bachmeier is not going to be able to run the football on Texas Tech. He's 100% right. Did AJ Barner just score a rushing touchdown? All right, I'm about that life. So
It's a drunken Sunday Night Football game.
I'm loving it though. I almost captained Torrey Horton, but I ended up going with JSN because it was too much value on the board. But yeah, to his point, Bear Bachmeier's not going to be able to run the football here. LJ Martin, remember, missed the second half of the game last week. Is he back? I don't know. So that's going to be a key point there. I do want to talk A&M Missouri because A&M's getting a really soft lead in here. Missouri just lost all of their quarterback play. I think they're going to Matt Zollers. I'm not super into him. Based on how A&M played early in the season, you got to kind of worry about how much Ahmad Hardy can do damage on them. And I do like this Missouri defense. I really wish Pribula was healthy here because I would love Missouri in this spot against A&M. A&M is due to drop one in a bad way.
I mean, look, we've talked about it, right? Marcel Reed's due for the stinker game. It's just, I just don't believe that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Does Missouri do that, like you said, without Pribula? I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. I'm willing to put the chips on the board and go find out.
Well, I feel like it's too close of too tight of a spread, in my opinion. I don't love that. The spread's a little tight for me.
Well, that's where I would probably take I'd do the Texas A&M minus 6.5, and I would do Missouri money line.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I don't think it's a game that Texas A&M wins by like 3.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Can I interest you in another tight spread where a top 10 team is on the road in the Midwest? The Oregon Ducks.
Yeah.
Heading to Iowa.
Yeah.
I think this Iowa team should be ranked. I think this Iowa team might be in the Big Ten title game. If an Indiana trips up at some point, I think Indiana's good.
I kind of like the over in this game.
I mean, 43.5 feels crazy low. I mean,
for an Oregon game,
and the weather's like, it says 50 degrees here. I mean, AccuWeather is not a place to get your weather for what it's worth, but 50 degrees ain't snowing.
Yeah, and then remember the last Oregon game, they had a torrential downpour against Wisconsin, and I ended up hitting Oregon team total, or I think I hit the over when it was like 27.5 at halftime. We cruised to an over there mid live line. Gronowski's playing well. He's not throwing the ball well enough. Can Oregon stop the run sufficiently? If Oregon stops the run, they win this game going away and they blow them out.
Well, that's what I keep thinking. Can Iowa do the grass-fed, big, tough Midwestern thing and just keep the ball the whole damn game? I mean, obviously they scored a lot of points, right? Whether he's throwing the ball well or not, they're scoring points. I mean, he's running the touchdowns in more than anybody, but I like him here, man. I don't, this Oregon going west to east thing, it's a long road trip. Iowa's played great offensively, which has been the thing that they haven't done in a long time. It's just they're sitting here at 6-2, and I'm trying to understand how they're not ranked.
SEC bias.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like the bottom of these rankings are like. I thought they should have been ranked last week. I mean, I just don't get it. I really don't. I mean, I think they're better than Washington.
Ooh, don't do that to me. Come on. Those are my guys. You know I love Washington. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen the AP Top 25 from this week yet. I know we're getting more votes, but we're not in it yet.
Can I flip you a DFS one here that I assume is going to be on the slate? This Miami Syracuse game. The spread's 28.5. I assume you're going to run out a lot of Fletcher here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Malachi Tony and Fletcher. And depending on who else plays, like if CJ Daniels is out again, I'll be interested in very cheap, maybe a Keelan Marion or a JoJo Trader. Yeah, but
question on Cuse, man.
They're awful.
What the hell happened there, man?
What?
I mean, I know Angeli got hurt. Right?
Yeah, but even still, how do you not play Ricky Collins last week? Like, what were you thinking if you're Fran Brown Oh God,
Corn,
Myron. Myron,
corn-fed exciting whites got me. That's a good laugh. Thank you, Myron.
I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole, Myron. I'm
No,
really not.
he's
I
doing
really
the
enjoy
exciting
it.
whites meme. That's funny.
No, but somebody asked me about that the other day. What was it? Oh no, I was watching a short and there was a guy, it was Zach Bond, and they asked him, they were like, hey, or he asked if he could qualify for the all-white team. It was hilarious. So yeah, no, what? Oh, I was trying to figure out who was ranked now. Oh, yeah, I was trying to find the Syracuse game because I actually had to play DFS for that stupid nonsense the other day when they lost to Bill Belichick. Okay, they
I
started
have heels.
Joseph Filardi, okay, instead of Ricky Collins,
Sounds like a
because Ricky
lacrosse
Collins
name if I've
turns
ever
the
heard of
ball
one.
over too much. Joseph Filardi went 4 of 18 passing for 39 yards. Why? You have Jonte Cook, you have Daryl Gill, you have Justice Ross Simmons, and you trotted out a guy who is worse, markedly worse than Jeff Sims.
Yeah.
Huh? Like, what
Yeah,
are we doing? That was
it's
stupid. I mean,
yeah.
Fran Brown got eliminated from the possibility of ever having getting a better job this cycle in that one game because that was so stupid. There is no human being on this earth that will say, I'm hiring Fran Brown right now to be my head coach of my football team because of that nonsense. That's so stupid.
It feels like he coaches like coaches coached 40 years ago. Where it's like, hey, that was dumb. We're gonna sit you down for a while and let you think about it. And then like it just blows up in their face where it's like now, it's just like, hey, learn from that, let's keep it moving,
Just put Dan Valeri in to play Wildcat quarterback. You would have been better off. He at least is decent. Like, that was so stupid. All right. Can I interest you in a team that is terrible against mobile quarterbacks, but playing an immobile quarterback this week?
You're talking about TCU, Iowa State?
Yes, indeed.
I was just
and they have
staring
a
at
quarterback with a ton of moxie.
All right, I'll pass that joke. Yeah, I mean, TCU is in the same class for me as SMU, and I get that the letters are the same and whatever. But like in this, like I really don't know what I'm getting from them any given week. I'm pretty confident they're good. I'm pretty confident they're a solid, well coached, decent football team. I just have no idea what I'm getting from them any given week. I want to believe that they're better. I want to believe that they're in the high end, second tier, third, that low end second tier of the Big 12, I guess. I really have no idea what version of a TCU team shows up though.
Yeah, and Matt Campbell's playing for those same jobs that everybody else wants. So that's where I find that one to be rather interesting. Do you believe potentially in teams bouncing back when their coach is fired and potentially doing better when one guy calls all the plays for the first, second, and third downs? Maybe Auburn plus 225 at Vanderbilt. We know Auburn's a talented roster. Can they take it home after Vandy just got smacked by Texas before they garbage timed their way to a close game?
So Auburn is one of 3 teams in the country who hasn't allowed more than 24 points in a game. I think it's them, Indiana, and Ohio State. So let's just set that arbitrary cap because the head coach is now the defensive coordinator, DJ Durkin, which I did see the other day where someone said the SEC went a full 7 days between coaches that had killed a kid. That's a joke from someone else. I do not want to be held liable for that. No accusations there from me, just, on who we were talking about, who's to say. But yeah, I mean, if the defense holds serve and I cap Vandy at 24 points,
maybe.
I mean, can Cam Coleman and that team find 24 points? I mean, the thing was this week, Daniel just didn't throw the ball. Like he ran it fine. Yeah. It looked the same as it did with
Jackson Arnold with less passing.
Yeah, it was the same thing. I was like, this is so bizarre.
I was laughing because everybody was trying to defend the fact that maybe Deuce Knight doesn't suck because they refuse to play Deuce Knight. Like At what point did you think that Hugh Freeze isn't going to just pull the plug and go, hey, Deuce Knight's actually pretty good. Maybe I'm going to play Deuce Knight if he's okay. Like, he's clearly not. He's not willing to play him over those guys.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? You never know till they actually play whether or not the guy's worth anything, and that's the exact thing. It's like maybe you play him, and I mean, look, I don't know what Nick Marshall looked like in practice, but I have a hard time imagining Nick Marshall showed up at Auburn practice those years and looked great every day. But you put that ball in the chains out there,
safety.
Nick Marshall was insane. And so that's, I mean, if Deuce Knight looks fine in practice, looks bad in practice, who knows? Turn the lights on, let the dude just go out and just go play ball. Let's see what happens.
Nick Marshall, you know what? You know what the best comp for Nick Marshall is in college is NFL Colin Kaepernick. It doesn't look pretty, but it's effective. That's pretty much what he looked like because it was ugly, man. It looked like a safety play. Every time he went to throw or run or do anything as a quarterback, it looked like a gadget play. It looked like a safety trying to throw a touchdown. It looked like we just threw one out to Jarvis Landry, who normally catches passes, but he's throwing them today. Like, that's what it looked like. It was impressive. I thoroughly did enjoy the Nick Marshall experience. You did bring up the LSU game. I just don't. That number one, Ryan Williamson going to do squat in this thing. Mansour Delane's going to be all over him. He ain't doing nothing. It's going to be Isaiah Horton and Jeremy Bernard just eating. And we already know that way too many people in this state are going to have their weddings this weekend because they're too stupid to realize that a football game's going on, and they do it every time.
I do like LSU.
I'm not touching it. I refuse.
Yeah. So here's my argument. It's very similar to one you made with Auburn. LSU's play calling has been horrendous. It's been horrendous all season. It's been just god awful. The roster is easily one of the most talented in the country. I mean, it's just there's no other way around it. It is one of the most talented rosters in the country. Can Frank Wilson get them playing good football? Don't know. Honestly, don't know because Brian Kelly tried to tell us the week before he got fired going to the A&M game that they looked around and realized the team wasn't tough. And so this week they installed, and so that week going into A&M, they installed more toughness, which is not something you can just plug in. It's not just in a couch cushion. You don't just, hey guys, we're tough now. Brian Kelly obviously gone. It's been a nightmare of a week for LSU and the Governors, I'll say pissing all over the job any chance he got near a microphone. But the guys in the locker room are still incredibly talented. And Frank Wilson's made a point. They're going to run the ball well. They're going to put out the best 5 offensive linemen and not what they've been doing. Does that make them look better? I don't know. I really don't. But I think with just better play calling, they can't look worse. So, yeah, LSU 10.5 is flatly jumping off the page at me. I think Alabama's in the same class as Georgia with like teams that I'm like, I'm not sure you can keep getting away with this. At some point, you'll trip up. But when is the question? I don't know. I don't think Alabama's the 4th best team in the country.
I would take
though.
I would take the points. I just don't know that I would bet LSU money line.
Well, I always believe in college football. If I'm willing to take the points, I'm willing to take the money line because I might as well just take them both because who knows what's going to happen here. If I can hit, if I hit the double on it, then great. I'm set for the day.
So
that'll reel me in for sure.
So you know this, and I'll tell the audience, but I'm not going to expound. I'm not going to expound on much after it. I'm not going to go into detail on a bunch of things here. Brian knows that I used to work at LSU for Verge Osberry, who's now the interim athletic director. Mm-hmm. What do you think Sharon Lewis is thinking that Frank Wilson's now the head coach and Verge is the athletic director?
Boy, I am not touching that one. That's getting Brian sued. Yeah.
That's why I said I'm not going any further than that conversation, but I just thought that's very funny when you brought up the Frank Wilson thing, because I thought about it when I was like, damn, that's crazy that Frank Wilson's the interim head coach after all that stuff went down. And
worth a Google
I
for
mean,
you there in the chat.
yeah, just everybody can Google that and form their own opinions. I will say Verge Osprey is one of the best human beings I've ever met as far as in athletics. One of the best in the country, highly deserving of an AD job. If he gets and keeps this one, it would be well deserved, is what I would say.
Could I interest you in Navy at Notre Dame? Because we just watched
No.
a rather poor Boston College team play keep away from Notre Dame there. Do you think Navy has any ability to play keep away with their version of whatever their triple option thing that Boston College was attempting to do just because the quarterback couldn't throw?
No, because their team was better last year, and we believe I bought into it last year, and they got destroyed. So no, I don't
No.
think so. I'm out completely. I can't. I just can't buy into it. I'm far more interested in Wake Forest being able to play keep away from Virginia. I
was
think
just
Wake
about to
Forest
ask you,
beat Virginia.
more likely to happen Wake Forest winning at Virginia or Cal winning at Louisville?
It's 100% Wake Forest.
Wait.
Cal is not winning at Louisville. That travel is terrible. Jake Dickert's done a hell of a good job at Wake Forest. Damon Claiborne is good enough. Robbie Ashford, he can maybe win a game.
That's my boy, man.
Virginia is primed to lose a game here, but at plus 202, anything plus 200 more, I'm very interested. I mentioned Florida could be quitting. I think Kentucky's coming on, and I like this kid Cutter Boley for them. I like them money line plus 146 against Florida.
At home.
I think it's a good line. At home. Home dog. I like.
I got one more home dog for you, and I think it'll do well for our numbers here because it always does. As many times I can say the word Hawaii, 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 Hawaii.
So that's the last game that I have up. I love that game.
Hawaii.
That game is going to be the underrated game of the week again.
As it should be.
Should. Oh, if you're going to give me 2K's of views of video, Hawaii's going to be featured every week because I love Micah Alejado. He's great.
They're a fun team.
Man, but I will tell you, I'm probably going to end up with some San Diego State alt lines in this one. Dude, they're nasty. Because Sean Kelly, is it Sean Kelly? What is Sean? Oh, he was at Kent State. Sean Lewis, and then he was the offensive coordinator.
You thought that Kent State life raft was going to help you there?
Yeah, well, he was the offensive coordinator for Dion last year before he got canned and kicked out, basically. Or maybe it was 2 years ago. And then he went to San Diego State. He has this thing rolling with, the quarterback, Jaden Denegal, who was previously at Michigan, and he's playing really well. They got Jordan Napier on the outside, very good wide receiver, and running back Lucky Sutton is just absolute filth. So they're going to they're going to present a lot of problems for Hawaii. Now, Hawaii's going to present a ton of problems with the pass game because they have 4 legit stud wide receivers and a very good quarterback who can sling it. And they're on the island. So when they're on the island, they're live. And I will be watching this game. It is on Spectrum Sports. Yes, I have that channel. Don't ask me why.
My in-laws down the street have Spectrum as their provider, so they've got Spectrum Sports. So every once in a while,
I have DirecTV, and I still have it. So
get some of that.
I have a massive upgraded package. So I have two other money line games, or I have 3 money line games that I wanted to point out. I was interested in. Can I interest you in Arkansas State at home against Southern Miss? Southern Miss currently in the driver's seat in the Sun Belt West. Arkansas State, you get Jalen Rayner, you get Corey Rucker, you get a good offense. Defense, a little skeptical, but they're at home as a dog. I think they're a live dog taking on what is essentially Marshall's offense from last year. So I'll go number 2.
Sure.
Number 2, I don't love teams going West Coast to East Coast, but I think this team's only favored because they beat a team that was so decrepit last week that we just talked about. I like Stanford
UCLA?
plus 260 at North Carolina. No, I would have loved Nebraska in that spot against UCLA, but golly, they are going to be awful. I cannot believe Nebraska's a dog in that one now, but they should be, and it's rightfully so. But I like Stanford traveling West Coast to East Coast, taking on the Fighting Bill Belichick, the Fighting Jordan Hudsons. I like them at plus 260 to handle business there. Stanford, better team than they're getting credit for. Michael Ford and Caden Williams, or what? No, Caden High. They have something Williams is the wide receiver. He's pretty good too. So I'm willing to buy in. You love Ben Gold-Branson more than anybody. Now,
CJ
a team that I will not CJ Williams, thank you. A team I will not have to sell you on that you will end up wanting. Kansas traveling to Arizona as a dog. Now,
I saw that
Arizona
earlier.
looked great. Arizona looked great last week. I still have a lot of questions about Arizona. I think Kansas can beat Arizona on the road. I have no worries about that game. By the way, if you do parlay Kansas, Stanford, Wake Forest, Arkansas State, and Tulane, that comes out to plus 24,385. In case you were wondering, I would not do that. I just happened to log all of them so that I would know which games I wanted to talk about the most.
Well, I was going to grab on to your Arizona looked great last week, and your first thing you brought up on the show here before, I was dodging the internet there for 25, 30 minutes. Quitting. Teams quitting. Colorado at Morgantown feels like take all the alt lines I can find. That team is minus 6.5. West Virginia is at home there. I think that Colorado team has packed their Louis, has packed their luggage. I think Dion is setting up for. I mean, I don't know why Dion's still doing this. I really don't. I mean, at this point, your kid's in the NFL. Travis Hunter's gone. There's no way you're just out here doing this for the love of the game. Pack it up, medical retirement, my boy. Go enjoy the rest of your life. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're still out here trying.
Well, and he's got a convenient medical thing.
That's what I'm saying. Just medical retire at the end of the season and call it a day. It's all good. Thank you for having me.
I think you 100% lay the 6.5. But West Virginia just put a clinic on against Houston last week, and Houston's a good team.
Houston's very good.
I think West Virginia minus 6.5 that's a hard one not to lay right there.
Yeah, that one jumped clean off the page at me, and I was like, that's a team.
I saw that too, and I was shocked by it.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's what I've got, and so I'll go ahead and apologize for my my first 20 to 25 minutes on this show. So
I'm used to working similarly in a similar vein.
Working solo, yeah. It's unhelpful when I'm in the middle of it, just going like,
Hey, I was getting the gist of it. You know what I mean? That's all you could do.
Hey,
I will tell you. If we get an announcement that Michael Van Buren is going to start for LSU, then I will immediately bet LSU to win that game. I can tell you that right now. So
we've got the classic. I will have a role.
I'm a Van Buren guy. I do like Michael Van Buren personally. That might be a live bet for me, live odds. But so we'll have content all week this week as usual. We're going to have all of our first look stuff and all the usual suspects here and the player pool and live before lock, all that stuff. Next week's going to be fun. Jaden Daniels just got hurt and he is going to be gone. He's grabbing a knee, folks. That is not optimal. In a 38-7 game with 7 minutes left in the game, they just lost their franchise quarterback. And let me see. I don't know on that one. That's a tough one for me to figure out. So anyway, yeah. So I'll have content all week. Next week's going to be a tad tricky after. Oh, they're breaking out the Aircast. That's not good. So yeah, the following week, I'm going to be in Chicago Monday through Friday, which I do need to talk to you about separately.
Okay.
But I have to go there for work. So I'm going to be there for 5 days. but I'm gonna take the equipment on the road. Show on the
This
road
this is the 10th through the 14th.
Yeah, but I'm here for next Sunday, but I leave Monday and then I come back Friday. So I'm going to be recording live from the Hilton in Chicago
Great.
entire week. So I'm taking the whole setup with me. We're going to do live content in the evening because I have work during the day. So that week, so that'll be exciting. So I will see you guys the rest of this week. I'll be back Tuesday doing DK first look, and you're getting Hawaii for another run because I am. Oh, Darren, I'm hitting Portillo's #1, and I am hitting Lou Malnati's because I have one near my my hotel. I was debating the other one, but I think I'm gonna hit Lou Malnati's because it's close. So I will see you guys on Tuesday. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Appreciate Brian for being here and talking for most of the time. It wasn't bad though. We were able to work through it. We were working technical issues. It happens. We're not a high budget stream here. So appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good week. I will see y'all throughout the week. And